Hi guys, so today's video is basically all about brushes, and I've actually been kind of on the hunt for good quality brushes over the last few months, and whatever I've learned or whatever I think you should invest in, this is what that video really is about. Given how expensive MAC brushes are, like literally I think one MAC brush is equal to like 5 McDonald's Happy Meals or something like that. So I think it's really important to know which ones you really need and which ones you can skip. So the first brush that I'm going to talk about is your foundation brush. Now some people use a flat kabuki brush, which is like this. It's flat at the top and it's got these fluffy kind of bristles. And there's some people who prefer using a flat shader brush like this. Personally, I think this is a very personal call. I prefer using a brush like this because I just like to kind of buff the foundation into my skin, versus this I just feel like I need to put more effort to blend it in when I use this brush. So I prefer this, but it's a personal call. This is the one from Sigma Makeup. Again, this is an online store. They definitely deliver to India, and if you are looking to buy a high quality brush, then you should definitely invest in your foundation brush. That's one of the most important brushes that you'll be buying. And if you don't want to spend money on say a MAC brush or an Inglot brush but want equally good quality, then the Sigma ones are the next best alternatives. Like these are the closest to MAC brushes that you would find. Moving on to a concealer brush. So concealer brushes are again a personal call. The kind of concealer I use, it doesn't really need a brush, but if you're using a concealer which does need blending, then again a flat kind of a brush like this, which is kind of smaller, is really nice for blending it in. You can also, if you have a nice blending brush for your eyeshadow, that as well works as a concealer brush. But I wouldn't kind of invest too much money in your concealer brush. I feel like you can get away with using your fingers as well. When it comes to eyeshadow, the first brush you will be using is your shader brush. This is the brush you use to kind of apply the shadow on your lid. This is the brush that will basically be packing on color. The one I have, I think, is by Vega. This is not a very expensive brush, and if you want to invest in brushes, this is not something I would say you really need to go out and invest in, because the ultimate job of this brush is basically just to pat on eyeshadow. So any decent quality brush should be good with this. If you want to look into a blending brush, which is a brush that really blends out the harsh lines over here, beneath your eye, you want to like just to blend it all together, that's the brush you really should, I think, invest in. And I didn't do it for the longest time, but I can totally see the difference because I recently bought the MAC 217 brush, and this is one of the best brushes out there for blending. So if you're looking for a brush that just seamlessly blends all eyeshadows out, invest in that kind of a brush, and this is a really good one. Sigma has a dupe for this as well, so if you guys want to go, you can check out the Sigma website and see what you like from there. The other brushes I like are detail brushes. So I have two from Coastal Scents. Again, Coastal Scents brushes are pretty nice as well. They're not as nice as Sigma ones, but they're very cheap. So these smaller brushes, which I don't think you should spend too much money on, they're perfect for that. So this one over here is like my gel liner brush, and it's also when I want to do like inner corners or something like that, this is the brush I use. And this very tiny one is like a very small shader brush, and if I'm putting something in my crease, or if I'm making like an outer V or something which is very detailed, then that's the brush I use. But if you're really looking to buy brushes to complete your eye makeup, then there are just two you really need. One is your shader brush, and the other is the blending brush. Everything else apart from this is really more of a want than a need, I think. So these are the two important ones. And then you obviously also need a blush brush to blush those cheeks, and this is the one I have. This is a very kind of, I think it's by Devo or QVS or something. I got this from New You. Again, this is not a very high quality brush, but I do recommend that this is again one of the brushes you should invest in. Get a nice high quality blush brush from Inglot or from MAC and use that, because they really help your blush blend seamlessly into your skin, and you don't have to do too much of an effort, especially if you are a beginner. The other kind of brushes that you could have is, if you're a big fan of bronzer, then something that is kind of a slanted blush brush. This has kind of become slanted over time. It's not supposed to be slanted, but there are brushes which are slanted blush brushes, and you use those to kind of contour your cheeks. So if you're very into kind of the whole bronzer look, then I would recommend that you get that as well. So I have a couple of other things like this Bobbi Brown brush, which is again a gel liner brush. But literally the only ones that I really use are the ones I just showed you guys. And if I have to do a quick recap, then if you really want to invest in brushes, get a very good foundation brush, get a very good blush brush, and get an excellent blending brush. These three are the ones you should really spend your money on, and the rest I would say you can go ahead and find cheaper drugstore alternatives instead of going to MAC. I hope you guys like this video. If you have some go-to brushes which you really think I really need to include in my stash, let me know and comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys soon.